All right, let's jump into a little 90-minute little index update here, starting off with ES, and we'll kind of break down the context of the current setup, how it ties in with what I was talking about this morning during the pre-market prep live stream. So coming into the sesh, what we had chatted about was the fact that price was breaking down from that prior day low, right? Regular trading hours, prior day low, rolling over, which frankly was expected after you see a bit of an exhaustion bar like we had on Tuesday. Now, what is challenging about this setup is the fact that, we're now countering 3 days of pretty aggressive buying. And the reason I say this is pretty aggressive is because if you actually take a look at the SPY chart, which is just going to show you your regular trading hours, right? There's an easy way to get some eyeballs on the regular trading hours chart, whereas ES is always going to show you that 23-hour candle on the daily chart. So just flip over to SPY. Going to be an easy way to kind of get a visual on that regular trading hours daily setup. And what we see are huge gaps within the daily time frame chart, telling us that, whatever happened on this day and then on this session kind of offered a big shift in the way that market participants were engaging with price. So we have this initial puke, right? Bunch of consolidation through here. This was all that range trading. And then these 2 days, you get that big shift. Gap is not filled. Gaps are left open. Show the follow through day on Monday, Tuesday, a bit of exhaustion. Now, the thing is the speed at which these 3 days happen did not give people a lot of opportunity to get involved. And so one of the things I had mentioned this morning, and kind of my concern always with action like this, like 3-4 days of pretty explosive buying, and now, a bit of a shallow pullback is, well, I'm imagining that a lot of market participants missed that initial rally and they want to participate. So the question becomes, with this bit of exhaustion here on the daily chart, where are the buyers going to step in, right? Is it going to be, this first area, our first level of interest? Is it going to be, what is the depth of the pullback going to be? So that's what we're always looking to assess once we kind of see some weakness start to develop within the context of a pretty explosive move. Now, coming into this morning, one of the things I had mentioned is you don't want to find yourself buying a downside level of interest with a prior day low break and a gap lower just with some type of 2-minute signal. This is kind of exactly what you'll see play out intraday when you're trying to counter some trend move. Let's imagine this is regular trading hours. You have some trend lower, price comes into a downside level of interest. You think you have a signal bar right through there, maybe that 1-minute hammer, 2-minute hammer, something like that. You assume it's a reversal. You get long, price just rolls over. Now you're down, right? Now you're down. The quality of this setup right through here on a 1-minute, 2-minute chart, whatever it may be, sometimes even a 5-minute, is just not going to be enough stopping power, is the way I like to think about it. There's not going to be enough juice there with that signal to really turn this ship around, right? It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. Now, eventually there will be some low that gets marked, but our goal is not really necessarily to nail that low. I mean, I know that's a fantasy of a lot of traders. I'm not really interested in nailing the low of any move. I'm just interested in capturing the meat of the move that I want with a high degree of success. I don't really care so much about what that local low is. What I really want is a high probability trade setup, and that always comes with higher time frame structure. So if you flip to the 15-minute chart or even the 30-minute chart, what you'll see, what do we have right here, right? What do we have right here? And this is exactly what I talked about during the pre-market live. You want to see that higher time frame structure developing before you take any type of long setup for today. And then we get it right through there. And so once you have that signal, you just need price to break the high. And that's kind of your That's your trigger. That is your signal bar that you can then utilize to look for an intraday entry. Now it's not once the high of that 30-minute candle breaks, you're just automatically long. You still then need your intraday entry, but your thesis is now leaning on this setup, right? You're now setting your risk against something that is much stronger than, say, this little candle right through here, right? So we can have conviction in this. We cannot really have conviction in this. There's nothing here. But right here, this is strong. And so I a lot of you have heard me talk about this repeatedly, but it is something that I see continuously with developing traders. And so if this is a sticking point for you in your development right now, just continue to study those higher time frame structures, continue to look at those 15 and 30-minute charts, because even if your average hold time is only like 2 minutes, 4 minutes, something like that, having this type of structure on your side is going to have a massive impact on your bottom line and on your hit rate. And you'll see this type of action. I know this technically did happen pre-market, but you'll see this type of development and this type of action happen all the time during regular trading hour session, especially with trend moves like this. So we get the structure development near the level, that downside level of interest, right? From there, what you really want to be doing is just looking for some type of intraday entry. So it can be a higher low, it can be whatever strategies that you personally like to trade. Now me, I was not looking at ES this morning. I was focused on NQ, and I had a game plan, a personal game plan to pretty much sit out the open, sit out the first half hour, just because I wanted to see how this structure was going to be developing. So the first entry that I actually engaged with was over here, and I think many of you already saw that, but I posted that in the chat if you want to take a look at that and review that. But again, it just goes to show that, to hit your trading goals, you really do not need to be nailing the low. You can simply wait for that high probability setup that is going to offer you, a high degree of success, and it's going to be much easier, right? By the time we get into 10, 12, 10, 13 area, right? I already have proof that all of these buyers are here. And so to wrap this all together, my thought process is, well, the market participants who missed this rally, this 3-4 day rally, they're very obviously interested in getting engaged with the very first pullback that we see. Like that's what this action shows us. They want a piece of the pie as quickly as they can. So we get our first pullback within this kind of broader, 3-4 day rally, right? First shallow pullback, and you already have aggressive buyers stepping in. So I'm essentially just standing on, when I get involved with an entry like this, I'm essentially just, standing on the structure that is already there. And it's not a house of cards. It's concrete reinforced with rebar, right? So hopefully that helps out. That was kind of the breakdown for this morning. I thought I'd tie it all together with more context based on what we had chatted about this morning in the pre-market prep live stream. Now, as far as what we're looking at, for the rest of the morning, rest of the day here, well, so far this is a pretty clear if day, right? Well past 10 a.m. with fresh session highs being made, fresh series of lower highs. So if you're trying to fade this move, at the very least, you want to see some type of structure build out like this, right? And then maybe some type of breakdown, or you want some type of big exhaustion move that then shapes up into like a shooting star again on the 15 or 30-minute charts. That's going to be your layup easiest trade. What I'll be looking at is just, as always, the reaction versus my levels of interest, which currently the nearest here on NQ is 18,200 and the upside 18,275, with price just about approaching, not far off of that prior day high now. Right, so a little bit of no man's land for me here currently on NQ. If we flip over to ES, I'm sure we'll see similar. Yeah, back in that prior day range, we've got the 52.10 level of interest right through there, and then the upside 52.30. Now, of note, this week's volume point of control is right through here at right near 52.13. So that may give you some clues. Okay, we want to see, was this actually distribution? And if it was, then you'll start to notice price rollover right through here. Okay, so as always, not a crystal ball or anything like that, not a prediction. We just use price structure to kind of give us a framework to work with and set our risk points. So hope that helps out. Hope that makes sense. If you guys have questions about anything, feel free to shoot me a DM. Good luck.